push-pull. And the reason it's the first one is it really captures the essence of flirtation, which is you're giving a positive and you're giving a negative, right? It's very playful. It's very much an emotional roller coaster for the girl. Imagine if you've ever seen the cartoons, you see like the little girl on the lily pad pulling out like, he loves me not. He loves me not. That's the feeling you're giving her. She's wondering if you like her, and that makes things more fun and more exciting and more interesting for her, okay? So that's the push-pull. You're gonna give a positive statement and then a negative statement, or alternatively, a negative statement followed by a positive statement. So some examples of this might be stuff like, oh, I thought I loved you until you did that. Or, you know, at first I wasn't so sure about you, but now you seem pretty okay. Or, you know, that shirt's amazing, but just not on you. Okay, so these are examples, right? It's a negative and positive, a positive and negative. It's that emotional roller coaster.
It was good. It was very nice.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued at this point now. I thought you were just gonna be like cute but boring, but you know, if you're actually like interesting, shit. I wasn't prepared for that.
You are far cooler than I expected you to be. Legitimately, like
Expected? I don't know.
I have low expectations for people, you know. So here's an exercise you can do to learn push-pull. And with this exercise, like pretty much every exercise I'm gonna teach you in this video, a key point I wanna make is do not think ahead, okay? If you're trying to plan out a full positive and negative emotional sequence like before you say it, that's A, it's gonna be hard, B, it's not gonna be spontaneous or clever or fun or funny, but C, it's not gonna be very useful to you in the real world. When you're dealing with a real girl, you don't have time to think ahead and plan out 2 sentences in advance. What you wanna do is be so in tuned and develop the habit of making positive emotional spikes whenever you want, making negative emotional spikes whenever you want, so that it's second nature and it just comes to you in the moment. So with that said, here's the exercise. I want you to grab a partner, or if you don't have a partner, grab YouTube or a TV and like, you know, put someone on screen and just go with that person on screen as your person for your impression. You're gonna look at your partner or the YouTube or TV screen, and you're gonna say the first thing that comes to mind, okay? Don't edit it, don't censor it, don't try and be clever, just say the first thing that comes to mind. If the thing you say is positive, you're then going to immediately follow it with a negative. If the thing you said was negative, you're gonna immediately follow it with a positive. If the thing you said was neutral, you can follow it with either a positive or a negative, but make sure it's a clearly positive or clearly negative. So I'll give you some examples. So if you look at the person, you're like, oh my God, what is up with that shirt? You're rocking it, bro, I love it, right? Or you can be like, wow, that is the funniest look. And by funny, I mean fucking amazing, right? Or if it's more positive, it'd be like, you know what? I love the vibe you're giving off. Makes me wonder why you can't do that every day, right? So it's negative, positive, positive, negative. If it's neutral, it'd be like, your shirt is red. I fucking love red. Okay, so that would be neutral, positive. So what you wanna do is get so good at making these kind of positive and negative emotional spikes in the moment that you could do it on command anytime. You'll know you're good at this when you could go positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative about someone indefinitely. So it might be like, you know what, that shirt, it's really good, but it's not working on you. But I love the fact that you're trying, you know, putting in effort, it shows that you're like marginally cool. You're in that okay category. But you know, everybody starts somewhere. I started from a very low place, and one day you might just catch up to where I'm at. But the fact of the matter is, I love you because I love your attitude. Right, so that's negative, positive, negative, positive. There's all kinds of positive and negatives there. You're just getting that format over and over again. That's the push-pull. Master it, and you're gonna be able to give a girl a positive or negative emotional spike whenever you want to. The next format I wanna talk to you about is the mini cold read. Now the mini cold read is, it's using exaggeration as humor, okay? This one and then the next one we're gonna talk about, they're all about exaggeration as humor. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna take whatever thing you've observed or whatever thing you're noticing in the world, and you're gonna sort of like twist it and make more out of it. So for example, let's say that a girl like gives you a look that looks kind of tough. You'd be like, wow, you're so tough. I might hire you as my bodyguard, right? So it's something silly that you're not actually gonna do, but it just makes things more fun and more playful, all right? And the key thing is it has to be an exaggeration. It has to be more fun and more playful. It shouldn't be like, you're very serious, you should be a lawyer. That's not fun or playful. That's just like a statement of fact. But if it's like, you're very serious, you should be a referee in the UFC because you just give them one look and even like the trained fighters would back down. When you have that exaggeration, when it's a little bit out there, a little bit crazy, that's when it's funny and it's interesting, okay? So the key thing here is the exaggeration. And the easiest format for a mini cold read is, you're so X, it's just like Y. You're so cute, you're like my little sister. Or you're so formal, you're like a little penguin waddling around. Okay, you're so X, it's just like Y. Pardon me, you two look like the most pint-sized troublemakers that I've maybe ever seen. Are you? Well, that's, you know, just adding to the trouble, so it's okay. You have a very, like,
You have a very engaging look about you, actually.
Is that bad?
No, it's good. The opposite would be a very boring look, so, you know. No, it's good. It's very much like I can't take my eyes off your eyes when you look at me like that. It's like I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen next. So an exercise that you can do for the mini cold read is similar to with the push-pull. What you're gonna do is look at someone, whether it be a partner, YouTube, TV, something like that, and say again the first kind of observation that comes to mind. In this case, you want it ideally to be something about their character, although you can go with their fashion or whatever. But now instead of focusing on whether it's positive or negative and adjusting accordingly, what you're gonna do is you're gonna focus on the nature or what's unusual about that thing, and then you're gonna kind of like put a little twist on it, okay? So if someone's really serious, you say like, what else is serious? Well, an undertaker could be serious, right? Or like someone who works at a morgue. Or who else could be serious? Like, I don't know, like the St. Peter at the pearly gates could be serious, right? Just doesn't really matter what you come up with, but anything that fits that format, that's a nice exaggeration. So the exercise here is, say the first thing that comes to your mind, and then you wanna like take that observation and kind of like twist it in a new and creative direction, okay? And ideally it's the format, you're so X, so you're so, make an observation, it's just like exaggeration. All right, get really, really good with this format, and you're gonna be able to, on the spot, take your conversation in creative, new, interesting directions. And the great thing here is you're taking the girl kind of to like a fantasy world, and in a fantasy world, you can be silly, you can be playful, you can be more flirtatious, you can even say things that are a little sexual, and there's not so much responsibility, so it gives the girl a lot more freedom to open up, be herself, and enjoy the moment with you. And that's similar to the next format, which is the future adventure projection. Okay, the future adventure projection is another form of exaggeration, except now instead of exaggerating by twisting, we're exaggerating by degree. So the key question you're gonna ask yourself here is, if this is true, what else is true? Okay, and actually these two work very well together. A lot of times you can do a mini cold read and then a future adventure projection following onto it. You don't have to, but a lot of times you can. So I'll give you a format of that first. That could be like, you know what, you're so serious. You could be like a referee in the UFC. Actually, to be fair, you're gonna be the first superstar referee ever. In fact, like people are gonna yell and boo and scream at you, and that's actually gonna be their highlight of the fight. They're not even gonna talk about the knockouts. They're gonna talk about the fact that you were such a bad referee and that you were like the villain of the show. Nobody's gonna like you, but you're gonna make a lot of money. So I'll marry you and take half that money. All right, so it's this crazy like story that I just made up like off the top of my head. It doesn't really make sense, but it's that exaggeration. If this is true, what else is true? Where can I take it? How can I play up this fantasy? And again, what you're doing here, you're making these creative, interesting things. They're far away from reality, and they give you this world where there are no consequences. So it's not boring, and you can open up, you can be sexual, you can make fun of someone without it being as offensive, you can compliment someone without giving away so much of your power. It just gives you this great scope to work within. And again, remember the definition of flirting, it's playful, it's playing at love. So these are very, very playful formats. So that was very, very, very intense. You guys look very cute, but that was like extremely like fucking like, I felt like I was watching some kind of like drug lord movie. He's like, I will kill them all. Pretty accurate. You'll kill them all. Anyway, I'm Todd. Hopefully I'll survive the next 5 seconds or so, you know, without like a knife in my throat.
No, you're fine.
Who are you guys? The exercise that you can do for the future adventure projection, similar to the other ones, is have a partner, have YouTube, have a TV, and again, say the first thing that comes to your mind. If you want, you can start with a full mini cold read as your seed, or you can just make an observation. Be like, that shirt is so, so, so red, right? If the shirt is so red, what else could be true? Maybe they're like, their whole life is red. Maybe their house is red. Maybe they like live in Redsville. Who knows, right? It could be anything. It doesn't even have to make that much sense. But you say, if this is true, what else is true? Where can I take this thing? How can I play with this idea? Okay? Okay, finally, the last format that I want to teach you is one of the most powerful ones. And it's a little bit less playful than the others, but it's very, very strong, all right? And the reason it's less playful is because the first 3 formats are ambiguous. This last format is a lot more negative in nature. It's a lot more of a push away. It's called a disqualifier. And what you're essentially doing here is that you're actually saying the reason why you and the girl wouldn't work or wouldn't get along. Like, I don't know, you're way too intellectual for me. Or, damn, you live too far away, this would never work. Or, you know, I thought I liked you, but like we have too much in common, we'd fight, right? These are disqualifiers. Or, you know what, I'd love to hang out with you, but I only have 10 minutes. All these kind of things What they do is, again, they give a girl this emotional roller coaster, but it's specifically a negative one. It's specifically for girls that are a little too validated, a little too full of themselves, a little too happy. They're getting a little too comfortable in the interaction. Maybe you've been talking too much about, like, you know, small talk topics, and they're a little too sure they have you. What you're gonna do is you're gonna push the girl away, and now she's gonna wonder, can I have him or not? Okay? And the reason why this is so powerful is that most girls are not used to this, and you have to understand, when you push a girl away, you think you're being mean to her, but you're not. What you're actually doing is you're giving her a better experience, okay? Women view an interaction a little like a movie. If you were to go watch a movie and there was no bad guy in the movie and no explosions and no tension, and it was just like bunnies bouncing on rainbows with like nice music in the background, you wouldn't watch that movie. It would be fucking boring. Most guys, when they talk to girls, are the equivalent of that movie. They ask a lot of boring questions and they compliment the girl. And so the girls are very secure and they don't feel any validation. They don't feel as though they're winning when they get with the guy. But if you push the girl away and make it a little hard sometimes, give her an obstacle to overcome, same as in the movie, there's a plot and an obstacle. When they overcome that obstacle, they feel like they won you, they feel like they earned you, and they're gonna value you more. And that actually makes the experience of the interaction and the experience of like sex with you much, much, much better than it would otherwise, okay? So the disqualifier basically is you're going to playfully push the girl away. Now you don't wanna be like, you are a shitty person and I don't wanna talk to you. That's not a disqualifier, that's an insult, right? The disqualifier should kind of imply there is a chance or there was a chance, but you kind of messed up, right? Or say maybe a girl says something dumb, you're like, wow, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that because I was really enjoying liking you, right? Something like that. So it has the implied positive of the past or the implied positive that there could be a chance, but the thing you're expressly saying is the negative. And then
What's
you were
your
dream.
name?
I'm Todd.
Todd.
Todd, T-O-D-D, yes.
Yes.
You are adorable.
Thank you very much.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Were you just
Thank
working
you.
out? I love these things, by the way. And this is the epitome of like, I'm kind of cool, but I didn't try hard. Actually, that's what this means right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah?
I didn't try hard. I just bought it. That's all.
Is it weird that-
sew it, so I didn't try that hard.
I didn't sew it. If you sewed it, I would not be friends with you.
Oh, really?
Seriously, legit.
Why
Like,
not?
so quick story.
Your friends are waiting for you.
Yeah,
no?
we're gonna grab dinner in a second, but
Okay.
you're more interesting for the moment. So.
For the moment.
If you bore me,
Yes.
then I'll go with them. You can practice disqualifiers the same way you could practice these other formats. Again, getting a partner, YouTube, TV. You can even use a magazine, I guess. But you're gonna look and give your first negative reason why not. So for example, you could look at picture in a magazine and be like, wow, you'll never get into my pants wearing that shirt. Or be like, you know, you're just too serious. This is never gonna work out. Or be like, oh, you play soccer? Yeah, I play soccer too. Like, I need someone who I have more space with. This isn't gonna work out. So you come up with any kind of negative reason why it could be a push away. But again, it's a little bit flirtatious in the fact that you're implying that there could have been a chance, or there was a chance, or there might be a chance if they change this thing. It's not a complete insult. It's not a complete push away. And it's certainly not, it's not a negative about them inherently. It's a negative about the possibility of a relationship with them. So it's not you're a shitty person. It's just we might not have a good relationship. That's a very important distinction to make. And this one's a little less playful than the other ones, but it still has a little playful. And the fact that it is a harsh push away means that it will get a pretty big reaction, okay? So those are 4 formats you can use. Practice them, master them. When these become second nature to you, and more importantly, when the vibe of exaggerating, playing with ideas, being willing to like be a little offensive, being willing to give a compliment, being willing to give a takeaway, when you learn that, you're gonna have much better interactions with women that are gonna be emotionally charged, non-boring, and the girl's gonna feel like you're a prize and you have to be won over. All right, so it's gonna be doing so much for your game. Practice these formats.